All right, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Lions Talk Live Friday. You know what? We got a little bit of a topic for you all to debate today. As we all know, anytime you add new players to a team, that means somebody else is probably not going to be on the team. So I try to look across the potential roster for this fall and say, hey, let's Scooby-Doo this. Let's see if we can figure out who are perhaps the five biggest losers because of the results of the NFL draft. Now, this is not meant to be something from Dan Adamas. This is just meant to be speculation. I can't honestly tell you who is or isn't going to make the roster, but I'm just trying to look across it, say, hey, these are five people probably really on the watch list going into this fall. So you know what? We'll talk about that here in a moment. One thing I do want to talk to you guys about, this might be a little bit shorter show for me today. I don't know what it is. And if you guys have ever experienced this, please let me know because I was caught off guard by this. Yesterday, had a showing over in Galesburg, Michigan. Had about 45 minutes to kill. So there was a McDonald's right there. I was like, you know what? I'll get a small Coke and a McDouble. Ate the McDouble. And ever since then, man, my head has been pounding and my heart's just been pa-pump, pa-pump, pa-pump. So I don't know if they just put like 20 pounds of salt in that thing or what, but I will probably never eat a McDonald's McDouble again. But yeah, even like today, this morning, my head's like all over the place. So yeah, I might cut out a little early. It feels funky. But anyway, a couple other things real quick. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are 1, 2, 3 subs away from 6,600. So if you could help out with that, that would be great. And you'd have my thanks and appreciation. Also, if you're enjoying the video and everything within Lions Talk Live, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. As you guys probably are definitely aware of, it helps the channel out a ton. So try to get each video to about 200, 300 thumbs up because that will kick it out to more and more people who perhaps don't normally discover the channel or at least haven't discovered it yet. Also, last but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, you see my number on the screen. Give me a call, shoot me a text. 269-998-2384. Let me use 30 plus years in the industry to your advantage. Try to save you some money on either the purchase or sale of property. Try to make the process a whole lot easier for you. All right, let's get going with this. Lions Talk Live in the morning coming at you. And we'll see what we do with all this. See what your guys' thoughts are about the five potential biggest losers that I've come up with. All right, so let me grab my list here. One of them, you guys probably seen it right off the bat, is Kobe Scoresdale. Now, I do think he'll make, unless he's just really a disappointment, I do think he's going to make the roster just because he's going to be a second-year player. But I also think he's really on notice. So if he doesn't perform well, like if he just tanks in any way, shape, or form this fall, then yeah, he might be one of the first people cut from the team. Now, he struggled last year. They moved him to guard, and I think we all get that. It wasn't the most ideal for him. But going back, trying to prepare this list, trying to think about different situations for him. Last year, I thought when he played right tackle, it still wasn't great, but it was much, much better. So could it be potentially, as we look at the rookies who came in this year, Manu, Mahogany, they've both been projected to be guards. And I'm going to do a separate video on them because I think there's pretty good evidence that both of them might actually be the long-term answers at guard, given another season or two. So they get to year 2 or 3 potentially. They could be Detroit's long-term answers there. Could it be Scoresdale at right tackle if he develops, if he holds up, if he makes it past this fall? Could be one of the options for right tackle. Hold on a second. Had a sneeze. Sorry about that. There is, I think, some potential for that where he could. As long as he works on his footwork a little bit more, gets a little bit better with his technique. And you guys often hear me talk about either offensive or defensive lineman hand placement, elbow contortion, extension. He's got to be careful because when you do watch him at tackle, I don't think it's as big a worry at guard. But when he did play a couple times at tackle, you can tell those elbows get really extended. And that's when, it's one thing to get the initial touch and block on him. But once those players start getting into him, you want to bring him back in so you can maintain leverage. He kept him out or tried to keep him out more. And I think that's just opening him up for a lot of up and under sweep moves, which are not ideal. But he could be one of the people I think that runs into some issues potentially this fall. Let's go to the next one. The next person I came up with, survey says, and you guys already seen it on the screen, is Levi Onwuzurike. And hey, for what he's gone through in his brief NFL career, having the back fusions, all that other stuff, the lower back surgeries, I give the guy tons of props for what he's doing. I also think because of his limitations, and we get last year, he graded out high at virtually everything on the defensive line. It's just he's limited unless something changes on how many snaps he can put on that back and body in a given game. Because of that, I think there's some real possibility, I should say, that he might get moved on from, because ideally as a coach, you don't want somebody who can only play at his position, just a handful of snaps every game because of his restrictions. So is he on the list? I think there's strong possibility. This next one, man, I really struggled with. But Joshua Paschal, you could also see him in the thumbnail. I like Paschal. I think he's got a lot of upside, but he's also struggled with injuries. You're also seeing a massive amount of numbers on the defensive line. And this isn't by happenstance. I think, as we're all probably aware, Brad Holmes wants really strong offensive and defensive lines. Because of that, he invests a lot of draft capital in them. Joshua Paschal has proven to be, I'd say, fairly good at run defense. In fact, maybe you could probably even say better than fairly good. The pass rush, though, that has been a little bit of a weak spot for him. And as we all know, the Lions are trying to get more and more pass rush. Also, you look at some of the people they brought in to help build up these lines. These guys, for the most part, can all get to the quarterback. And Paschal, if he's not careful with his injury concerns and his lack of pass rush ability, he might find himself on the wrong side of the roster spots. All right, going on down the list, and I'm guessing you guys already know these just because, again, they're in the thumbnail, so not a huge surprise, I would think. Craig Reynolds. Now, Craig Reynolds, I think, is a bit of a fan favorite. Everybody's going to forever remember that block in Tampa Bay he made last year that sprung Amon-Ra St. Brown down the sideline and into the end zone. But Craig Reynolds also, while he's a stable, sound running back, he doesn't have explosion. It is my opinion that as far as a runner, he doesn't hurt you. Same as a pass catcher. But I think Vilcai will do a little bit better at those positions or those areas of the running game. So running up the middle, especially in zone running, if you watch him, he hits it and he goes hard. So he's able to do things a little bit better in that regard than Craig Reynolds. Now, I do also believe that he's a better pass catcher by far than Craig Reynolds. So it is going to become a numbers game for the Detroit Lions. You're not going to be able to keep everybody. I'm really thinking that Craig Reynolds has a shot over Knight, but Knight, who's also in the running for the running back spot, might actually beat him out. Again, all this for the running back spot, it's going to come down to how many they keep on the active roster. My anticipation is 3 on a given game, but I've been wrong before. Could they keep 4? If it's 3, then I'm guessing Craig Reynolds is really in trouble. If they keep 4, I give him a 50-50 chance. All right, and then the last one will be Kindle Vildor. Probably not a big surprise here, especially with the investment the Lions have made in the secondary with this particular draft. Vildor, well, I think he was a big bonus acquiring him later in the year for the Detroit Lions, especially the defense. I also think he's probably the odd man out. And there will be some other people for sure that will be on the wrong side of this. But Vildor, I would say, is probably the first person out of the room out of all these guys. And probably work your way back from there. So start with Vildor. I think go from there to Craig Reynolds, et cetera, as far as the first people that I would be cutting off the roster. So that's my list for the 5 biggest potential losers from the NFL draft as far as the impact on making the Detroit Lions. Let's see what you guys have to say today. All right, JDC, good morning all, and good morning to you too. Good to see you in the chat this morning. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew, Superdome or bust. Will Harris, yes, Will Harris is no longer a Detroit Lion. We thought the day would never come where it happened, but you know what? It's happened. He is no longer here. He's going to be a New Orleans Saints, and wish him well. Hey, let's see, Dennis. Hey, Duke Crew, and the hardest worker on YouTube, Dan. Hey, thanks for that, man. I enjoy this, as you guys know, and I enjoy being up here every morning with you guys. All right, Hookadoo, what do you got? Good morning, Dan, the Duke Crew. This is for you. Grit to you, and good morning, Hooks. All right, yeah, Stephanie, good morning, boys. sorry to see some of the people listed on this. There will be some hard cuts this fall. Couldn't agree more. The Lions, for the first time in a really long time, are probably got other teams just really having one or two people watch all of our preseason games from their scouting department. They want to know, and they have vested interest in picking up some or acquiring some of the players that we're going to be potentially parting ways with. Could it be Brad Holmes trades away a few people for 7th-round picks or 6th-round picks or whatever? I think there is some strong possibility versus just cutting them and getting nothing. There's also going to be some teams that, because they know their position on the waiver wire, might say, hey, we won't have a shot at getting this guy if we don't give them something in a trade. So it's unfortunate to see people leave. It's unfortunate to see really some people that help contribute to make this franchise its turnaround so quick and remarkable. But unfortunately, that's the price of success. You keep drafting well, you keep acquiring more talent. Sometimes talent's going to get left behind. So it's unfortunate. Moonscar, good morning, guys. Will Harris is already gone. He is not on the roster, according to Over the Cap. Cadell Dorsey could be gone based on his cheap salary. Yeah, and that plus I just think the position on the team. I mean, maybe I'm way wrong. If I am, you guys can let me know. But I just look at Vildor and I go, who would you keep and in the secondary, and would you keep him over any of them? I like the guy a lot. I just think he's probably going to lose out to Emmanuel Moseley if Moseley is healthy. If not, then Vildor gets the spot. I guess Gilmore is the big question too, because we've seen Dorsey. We really haven't seen Gilmore since last preseason. As far as some of the rookies, yeah, they're not going anywhere. They're going to be kept. They're always getting cut, and probably this year, next year, who knows beyond that. You got Davis III. He's not going anywhere, and we get it from there. You got a lot of guys who are coming back, so he's probably on the outside. Hookadoo, Stefan, yeah, agreed on that? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, got a lot of good guys are going to be gone. All right, Dave, whatever happened to Funk? Yeah, he brought the funk, I guess. All right, yeah, in short, Dave, I don't know. I think he's still on the roster, I believe. All right, let's see. Big Eddie Greens and salutations, crew! ! Coach, any more updates on Branch? ? I guess I didn't know Kirby had hip surgery. Yeah, I want to say Eddie had hip surgery. Man, has it been a month? I don't know. It's been a little bit of time. So my guess is, as I put in the video yesterday, he's probably going to be fine by preseason, as long as there's no setbacks. Obviously, something doesn't flare up or whatever it may be. So my anticipation is Kirby Joseph's going to be fine. Brian Branch, like I also pointed out a few times in last night's video, I just couldn't find any information on what it is. Now, the comment section after the video, and well, to be fair, during the video, did blow up, and people saying maybe it was just I don't remember exactly what games it were. I know Green Bay was one of them where he kind of tweaked his ankle and messed it up. I want to say there was another game too where he kind of did the same thing as far as tweaked the ankle or whatever. So is it possible they went in and just cleaned up the ankle injury? Yeah, I think that's very possible. But what it actually is, that I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see, but hopefully it's nothing big or major. All right, Trumps, woo! 100%. Good morning to you. France, good evening all. At Big Eddie, it was news to me as well. I'm thinking they're both going to be fine by training camp. Yeah, that's definitely the hope. Get everything done now. Get it done ahead of time so you don't have to worry about it then. All right, so yes, I agree. Trumps, how come when we talked about defensive ends, nothing is mentioned about the defensive the defensive end from Canada, Matthew Betts? I think my only thoughts on him are I just don't know enough about him to be one way or the other. I've seen limited amount of film from him last season in the Canadian Football League. He's definitely athletic. Do I think he's going to get cut before Pascal? Yeah, I would say probably Pascal. Do I think they would keep him over Levi Onwuzurike? That I'm not so sure on. And, I get the rest of the guys probably aren't factors in regards to Betts, but Betts has got some speed. He's got some explosion. He's got some upper body strength. It's really going to come down to, I think, how people perform and if you believe the guy's going to be able to stay on the field. If you're going to be injured all the time, unfortunately, Pascal and both Levi ran into that, then that's probably going to be a contributing factor. All right, Moonscar Funk is still on the roster, but probably just a camp body practice squad, maybe. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. All right, Bo, I think it's too early to worry about Branch and Kirby. Yeah, I mean, until we get more information, probably, don't want to overreact to it, but it's definitely something we want to pay attention to. I know there were a lot of people commenting. Maybe that's why the Lions took 2 cornerbacks / safeties. It's possible for sure. Or it could be that they just want to really try to do everything they can to improve that particular area while those 2 guys were the best players on the board when both selections came up. So a lot of contributing factors, I think, to what happened last week. All right, Matthew, greetings and salutations. Good morning, everyone. Super Bowl or bust. Woo! Good morning to you, Matthew. And hey, thanks for always being a part of the show. Hey, man, good morning, Dan and Do family. Hey, Dan, the wife used her new mug and wanted me to tell you it made the coffee taste. Woo, woo! I'll pass that on to Jen. Maybe she put in some secret ingredients into the coffee mug. So thanks for that, Hatman, and I will pass that on. All right, Hatman, good morning, JDC, 100%. Bo, Betts has gotten plenty of press here at the Dew Crew. Yes, he has. And you know what? He'll be another one in the preseason. A lot of people are going to be watching him just to see what he's about, what he can do, etc. Hooker in this preseason is going to get tons of reviews, tons of people watching. Betts will be another one, and there'll be some other rookies that people are going to want to watch and see. Manu is going to have a lot of people watching. Mahogany is going to have people watching. So I get it. Vaki is going to have people really wondering, especially if they move him around as much as I think they are. I think there's some potential with Vaki that they're going to have him running back, maybe like I think I said yesterday, like an H-back, perhaps a little bit of form of receiver, punt and kickoff returns. Although I want to say he had kickoff returns in college, maybe not so much punt return yards, but really, if you can do one, you should probably be able to do the other. All right, Robert G. Good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Back at you. Hopefully having a good one, Robert. Just say K. Let's see. Hey all, and good morning. Man, some good players will be cut by us and picked up super fast by other teams. That's a first. Yeah, it's been a long time since Lions have had such a gluttony of talent that other teams are just waiting for you to make cuts so they can add to their roster, maybe firm up the back end of their team. All right, Hatman, JDC, good morning, Hatman. Yep. Moonscar, it might be possible that Branch has plantar fasciitis and is staying off it and keeping pressure off so that it can heal quickly, but that can drag on depending on how severe. Yeah, there's a lot of unknown factors going on with this. So all I can do, or all any of us can do, unless you guys know something that I've missed so far, we're just guessing what's happening. What we do know is he did have apparently some sort of brace put on the foot. I'm guessing some form of surgery then, and he's got the little scooter thing to try to keep some pressure off it. So what will happen or come of it, we're going to have to wait and see for more information. Dave, greetings, salutations to everyone in the Dew Crew. Back at you, Dave. Hopefully have an outstanding morning. Dave, Betts is a gritty kneecapper. All right, there he probably is a gritty kneecapper. That's a term. Bo, yes, Kate, and probably why none of our draft picks will be put on the practice squad. Yeah, I would think with the potential of all of them, all 6 of them, I think all of them are going to make the 53-man roster. Unless somebody just really bombs or does something off the field. I'm with you, Bo. I see them all making it, especially both corners are going to make it. Offensive linemen are going to make it. Mahogany, I think, was a real nice pickup. He's just got some stuff to work on. Manu, we all have heard his story, man. Just tremendous physical specimen. Just needs more polishing. Go on through the rest of them from there. I believe they all will make it. Kurt, greetings, salutations, everyone. Back at you. Steve, what do you got? Good morning. The captain is reporting as eligible. Nice to know the cap's out there and ready to go. Hookadoo. One thing is for sure, anyone cut, they will have to pry them out of the locker room. Yeah, the guys all seem to love being here. I don't think there's anybody on this roster that we're privy to or aware of that is not a fan of being a Detroit Lion. All the guys they're bringing in have certain personality traits. We've talked about that a ton. they're all just geared up and ready to be a part of this process and the process to getting to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl. There's a lot of camaraderie, and I don't think it's going to be an easy day watching any of those guys have to clean out their locker room and leave. So fortunately, we got a few more months before we got to worry about that. All right, Jedi Sith, greetings and salutations. What's the next big event for the team? Question mark, OTAs. Yeah, you got the rookie symposium, rookie camp, then OTAs, and then you got whatever it is, like a month off until you have training camp beginning. So you're pretty spot on with that. Hitman, for me, the only real loser for us was not getting Darius Robinson or Nealon. Yeah, Nealon. I remember watching the draft go down. I want to say he got to within 4 picks of us, and then Dallas got him. And it happens. I'm guessing if we really wanted him, and that's an if. We just didn't have the draft capital to really move around at that point. I guess we could have use some of the draft capital we gave up for Manu to go up and get Nealon. But maybe that's also a statement that the Detroit Lions preferred getting Rakeshaw versus Nealon. I mean, that's obviously pure speculation on my part, but it is possible. Moonscar, Vildor won't cost much to cut, $167,500. Will be interesting to see what shakes out with there with the DB injury situation. Yeah. And again, I've given you guys all the information I have on the cornerback room as far as Branch and Kirby Joseph. I'm guessing more will come out in time, but right now, at least I don't want anybody to panic about it because we just don't know enough. All right, Quentin, greetings, salutations, y'all. Man, oh man, coach, you got me, you got me bugging about maybe there was a bigger reason we took 2 corners last week. Like Holmes is worried about Branch and Kirby or something. It's totally possible, Quentin. But without, again, knowing what the surgery or injury is to Brian Branch, it's hard to really be worried. We're all worried probably because of the unknown, but maybe we shouldn't be worried because, nothing's come out about it, I guess. So wait and see. We'll probably get more information at some point in the next week or two. And when it happens, then we can all make our judgment, say, is this a big issue or not? But could it be that Brad Holmes just wanted to really upgrade the secondary? I think there's a lot of truth to that. Could it be that Brad Holmes is aware of something that's potentially going to set back one or both of those players? That's also true. All right, Rocky, what do you got? Good morning, all. Hope all is going well, 100%. Same to you, Rock. Hopefully you have an outstanding Friday morning. JDC, a great interview with Alex Anzalone on the Green Light with Chris Long. I saw that pop up. I have not listened to it yet, but I'll check it out, man. Thanks for the heads up on that, JDC. Trumps, I still want that kicker from the Panthers. Yeah, I think a lot of people do, man. I get he had a rough week last week in the rain and whatever outdoors, but not ideal kicking situations by any means. The guy seems like he's got a cannon for a leg. Could it be he's an upgrade? Could it be, man, I'm thinking there's probably about 25 teams in this league that are going to make a push for him if he finishes strong with the UFL season, kicks well, continues upward trend, all that stuff. Yeah, you might see a bidding war for his services. Good for him if that happens. Good for him. All right, Moonscar, JDC, got that interview saved for later. There you go. Let me know how it goes, man. I'm going to try to watch it on the road for a few showings today. Silver Server, good morning, coach, and everyone else. I really don't really see any losers, perhaps Scoresdale, but I bet he is improving and plays tackle as well. Yeah, we're on the same page with that. Dennis, time to sign Justin Simmons? Maybe. I mean, if we get to the onset of training camp, and I have no idea if this is going to happen. I'm saying if. It's speculation because I can already hear people in the comment section, somebody going to come after me about it. But is it possible that if there is a setback, the Lions make a move to acquire a more veteran safety or something like that to help keep things boosted until some of the walking wounded return? Sure. Totally possible. Totally possible. All right. Silver Server, boy, I can never say his name, so I'm just going to say Yoda is on a 1-year deal. It depends on how he plays rookie's development. Yeah, and rookie's development. I agree with that. I thought he played well last year. But is it possible they go and say Scoresdale, they go with him on the the wrong side of the numbers game for the offensive line? Sure, totally possible. And with him being a little bit, I want to say a little bit older than Scoresdale, I mean, if they're both even, I'm probably going with the younger players at coach, because if they're even, the younger player is leaving, in my opinion. All right, Rocky, what do you got? Another rainy day this morning, but on the upside, found a few mushrooms yesterday, as it says in the song, My Sharona. Woo! There you go, Rock. We'll enjoy them, and glad you enjoyed some mushroom hunting. Broski, good morning, Dan. Everyone, make sure you have a great day today. Same to you, Broski. Thanks for always popping into the channel. Ed, good morning, Coach and Do Crew. Good morning to you, Ed. Hopefully the rain's not stopping you from going out there and catching some fish. All right, Rocky, finally, hard cut decisions in Detroit. Yeah, this team's stacked. We all get it. Tons of players all over the place. You know what? Good for Detroit. They've turned this thing around, and yeah, there's going to be some real sad people leaving this team because they know this team's got the potential to make a real strong push into the postseason and after the Super Bowl. Thomas, what do you got? Ova. All right, fair enough. Ova, all right, fair enough. Bo, salt and sodium. Yeah, if you're talking about the McDonald's, I'm guessing what it is because, like I said, man, I ate that thing and it was just one hamburger. That's it. Not like 4 or 5 of them. Not like add a bunch of fries with it. It was just one. And I was like, dang, man, what just happened? And by the time I got home, man, my head, my chest was just pumping. Rocky, wow, hope it's not food poisoning. I had that before. Yeah, I'm hoping not either. But I'm going to drink a lot of water today. Put it that way. What's got McDonald's all salt? Yeah, it could be. Ever eat a plant burger? Meat has no flavor. All the flavor is in the ketchup and pickles. Yeah, I don't think I'll be having a McDouble again anytime soon. Broski, if I had a dog, I wouldn't feed McDonald's to it. It's literally poison. Yeah, I'm like I said, probably not having another one anytime soon. Thomas, my bad. I meant Zonovan Knight and Craig Reynolds. Their jobs are at risk with the new boys. Yeah, I think that's real fair to say there, Thomas. It just comes down to if they keep 4 of them, assuming they don't add anybody else this offseason, one, if not both, Knight or Reynolds are probably on the outside of this roster. Maybe one of them makes it, but I think there's real possibility that both of them are gone. Phil, that's not normal, Dan. Get your blood pressure checked. Yeah, I'll probably go do that this morning. Bo, sugar and sodium, blast spelling thing. There you go. Miles Marker, good morning, Coach and crew. Back at you. Robert G, allergies are a big problem this time of year also. Just saying, yeah, it could be maybe something in it is affecting me, but it's definitely better now than it was yesterday. But yeah, you still feel like my thoughts don't fully process as quickly as I'm used to them going. All right, let's see. Moonscar. Also, I used to work meat loosely. I use the word meat loosely when talking about McDonald's. Yeah, it's whatever it is, the slime and everything else there. So yeah, again, probably removing it from my dietary consumption in the future. Broccoli, probably the Coke. There you go. Could be the Coke, man. Silver Surfer. I'd wait on Sony Vaki and see if he's going to flourish at safety or halfback. As a halfback, not going to be a threat to the dynamic duo. No, I don't. I'm with you. He's probably not a threat to either the 2 main running backs. Marcus, it's the 5 Mountain Dews a day. Could be, man. You never know, man. Never know. Brent Green, salutations, everyone. Super Bowl or bust. Woo! 100% with that. And good morning to you. Moonscar, that mic is amazing at only picking up sounds directly in front of it. Could barely hear anyone around the liquor store last week. Yeah, it's done pretty well. It's definitely funnel focus. Don't think anybody that came in really buying something at the store was really a factor. Or I know they play a TV and had the stuff on. They did turn the sound down, but yeah, Mike does a good job. How about that, Phil? Any nausea, Dan? Nope, no nausea or anything. There's like one little spot on the top of my head where you could just feel it bumping a little bit. When we went to the dog park and stuff, could just feel a couple times where it just didn't feel normal, I guess I could say. Other than that, it's for the most part been fine. And like I said, this morning is definitely better than last night, but no nausea. But thanks for that, Phil. I know that's more your wheelhouse than mine. All right, so at the end of the season, the only corners under contract will be Arnold, Rakestraw, and Robertson. Only three. I doubt they will sign Davis at 15 to 20 million per year. He was emergency for Sutton. Could be strong evidence of that. Very strong. I think with Davis, it just comes down to he plays well, has really great season, and he wants to remain with the team. They can probably work it out. Otherwise, yeah, you're probably moving on. Lone Wolf, be careful, Dan. This past week, I was very dizzy. A few of my friends were dizzy as well. Something is going around. Yeah, it could be that too. Maybe it's maybe I've got a cold or something, and then the sodium based McDouble or whatever just exacerbated that. I mean, who knows, man? JDC, I get that way after about the first puff. Only you know when the old ticker is getting fidgety and when to pay attention to it. Yeah, I'm going to be paying attention throughout the day. Probably won't even have a Mountain Dew today. Oof, help me. And probably just drink tons of water. See how it keeps going. Phil, can't help doing the medical thing. I work in nursing. Fair enough. Phil Pascal has been a great disappointment. Yeah, and a lot of it's unfortunate. It's beyond his control. It's the injuries, but he has not been the impactful player that a lot of people thought he would be coming out of Kentucky. John, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. Nice catching up with you on Facebook. Yeah, 100%, John. And go Lions. Agreed. Good morning to you as well, my friend. All right, Ed, do you think the rookies will push some veterans out? Yes, Ed, I do. And that's part of the show today is talking about that. Not everybody's going to make this team, and I don't see any of the rookies not making the roster. Is it possible one of them doesn't make it? Sure, but I think all of them. I'll go with this. Neither cornerback is going to be exposed to the practice squad. You've invested too much. Same with both offensive linemen, in my opinion. You've invested quite a bit in both of them. You see the potential of them. They're not going anywhere. They're staying. Maybe Wingo, but I think that's a stretch too. Even though there's some aspects about him I don't like, I also think there's a lot of aspects you do like. So do you let him get exposed either? And I'm thinking probably not in Vaki. Yeah, he's not getting exposed either because you've invested a lot of trades into the vast majority of these players to acquire their services. So I'm guessing they're all going to be on the 53. Silver Server. I see them resign Vildor again if he improves. Actually, I forgot about Gilmore. He, too, will be still under contract after this year. AG really likes his potential of being sticky. Mosley to be seen. Yeah, Mosley could easily get cut if he just doesn't get right and healthy. Yeah, man, that cornerback spot or the secondary spots on the team, I think they're going to be some of the most contested and hotly contested, not just this team, but probably around the NFL, just because you do now have a gluttony of talent in Detroit. Not everybody's going to be on the Detroit's 53-man roster. Phil, you think Kirby is on the hot seat? Maybe a little bit. I really like Kirby, Joseph. I think everybody watching does, but just trying to be as fair and neutral as I can be when you check out the secondary. If I had to grade, he probably is one of the lower ones on the projected 53-man roster when it comes to man-to-man coverage responsibilities. Now, if you're not going to play as much man-to-man as I'm anticipating, then maybe it's not as big as factor. He is very good at single high safety, and you guys have heard me say that before. But asking him to cover people all over the field just isn't as big a strength of his, where if they're really going to move Brian Branch to safety, he can cover. He can play single high. Iffy obviously was a corner. He can cover very well. We all saw it last year come to fruition. And then you look at the cornerback room all around him. I do think Rakestraw is going to spend time at safety just like he's going to spend at corner. So Kirby, I would put it this way. He needs to not come in overconfident, which I don't think he will, but he needs to make sure he's working his butt off because he's got something to lose. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of competition back there. All right, Uncle Buzz, all of those dogs and dudes catching up with you. It could be, man. I know I'm going to have to eat a lot more garlic today, probably just to help clean out the arteries and stuff like that. But we'll see what shakes out. Phil, what's up with Branch and wearing a boot? He had some sort of surgery, it would appear, on it, and somewhat restricted. But, yeah, I did a thing on it last night, a video. So check that out, Phil. But right now as much information about it as I do. All I can tell you is it's restricted. He's casted or booted, and then he's got the little scooter for support. Broski at JDC. Is that your eyeball? Could be, man. Could be. Moonscar, I think Craig stays with Rodrigo as a fullback linebacker, keeping 4 for the season. Monty, Gibbs, Vaki, Reynolds, maybe one more. Yeah, that could be 100%. Let's see, Rocky, Vildor gone, and once again, I believe Kennedy may be in trouble. Could be, yeah. They might get Kennedy again. Let's see, Taylor Made. When you've got a new D-line coach, a lot of huge athletes are on the bubble. Yeah, everybody's on watch, and good point with the new D-line coach. They're going to go with what they feel is right, not what prior coaches felt like. JDC, good luck with you young men that didn't make the cut. Keep on trucking. Yeah, it's part of the job, man. You got to keep going forward and hoping for your next opportunity. All right, great likes, greetings, salutations, do crew, exclamation point. I totally get why the Falcons. All right, I'm guessing there's more. Why the Falcons? All right, so I'll go with that for now. All right, Bo TK85, yes sir. JDC, Broski Bear, no. Broski Bear, JDC, anyone you know? Fair enough. Rocky Lions are being secret squirrel about Branch. Yeah, and it could be absolutely nothing, just a simple cleanup procedure or whatever. It could be more. It's just the fact that we don't know right now leads to all the speculation. All right, Great Lakes, green salutations, do crew. I totally get why Atlanta took Phoenix. Yep, Phoenix, excuse me. They hope not draft that high again anytime soon with their up-and-coming team. He's an amazing player, and Cousins is a 36-year-old with an ACL issue. Yeah, I get it too, and I also get that the majority of his contract really is just a 2-year deal when you're talking about Kirk Cousins. So if you play it out, you say, all right, Kirk Cousins, you're going to take us through the next 2 years. Yes, you're going to get all that guaranteed money after that. He's the rookie's probably ready to go, or I guess he's not a rookie at that point, but you get the gist. All right, Broski, JDC, an eye for an eye. There you go. Silver Surfer, I saw the interview with Anzalone with Chris Long. Not a great fan of him, but I am a fan of Thor. He is really a wonderful individual and true example leader on the field. Somebody I could be friends with. There you go. There you go. Yeah, he seems like a good dude. Don, that for the work. All right, fair enough. And good morning, Don. Rocky thought the injury was to the other ankle. At least in the photo I saw, it looked like to the, at least when they cleaned up or whatever, whatever they did, I guess. It looks like it's to his left one. I don't remember offhand which ankle he messed up in the season. I'd have to go check that out. JDC, woo, coffee. There you go. Phil, Coke, question mark. You drink Coke instead of Dew? The Dew review is getting you. There you go. Yeah, that's what they had at McDonald's. They don't have Dew. So I was like, yeah, I'll have a small Coke. And yeah, I wish I would not have stopped at McDonald's at this point. Miles Marker, please like, share, and copy. You don't have to send it, but it still counts. Good for the channel. Thank God it's Friday. There you go. And thanks for that. Yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Like 3 subs away from hitting 6,600. And if you can thumbs up the video, the show, or whatever you want to call it, as you guys all know, that helps out a ton. All right, let's see. Moonscar and Steve Rogers, Silver Server, is a fan of Thor. What are your feelings towards Thor? Fair enough. I want to say Captain America and Thor are friends, but don't hold me to that. Phil, a product of the show. Woo! Coffee. There you go. I wonder what you're putting in the coffee to make it go woo. There you go. Broski, I'm kind of a big deal. People know me. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany. All right, fair enough. Kurt Steele, the infamous one. What up, Dill? What up, Kurt? Good morning to you, too. BJH. Seen Jeff Krotchke say that he talked to Branch at the draft, and it was some cleanup surgery from wear and tear over the years. Okay, yeah, if that's all it is, then it shouldn't be a big deal at all. And thanks for that, by the way. Phil, a Gen Grind Tesla Tooth Fruity Dan's Dark Roast. Very good. All right. Morning, Kurt, says Phil. Broski, Kurt Steele in the house, exclamation point. Agreed. Kurt, what's going on, Duke Crew? Not too much, man. How about you? Hopefully having a good morning. All right, JDC, I drink woo coffee. There you are. All right. Silver Server Vaki as a halfback is not fast, not big, and had a few great carries against USC taken by surprise. As a surprise, yeah, as a safety question mark. Now that might be a different story. I can see him lighting people up. Yeah, to your point, as a running back, he hits zone reads very hard. I mean, he was aggressive, especially against USC. As a safety, he's a downfield runner. He can blast people. I don't or have not watched him enough to know his coverage abilities or what he's better at, one thing versus the other. So I may have to really defer on any of that. Kurt, I think the Lions like their defensive ends 100%. Yeah, the fact that they haven't been more assertive going after something, I'm with you, Kurt. I take that as a indication that this team's pretty happy with what they have, unless something falls to their lap, I guess. All right, JDC, Puff and woo coffee and LTL. Yes, I go with that. It sounds like a winning combination, if you ask me. Bo, woo, morning, Kurt. Our defensive ends are probably better than they are getting credit for. Yeah, get to the season. Let the results speak for themselves. You guys all know my thoughts. I think James Houston's going to be the starting end, but who knows? Maybe it's Davenport. Maybe it's Joshua Pascal. I guess it's possible it could be Matthew Betts. We'll all have to wait and see who it's out there. All right, Kurt, what do you got? Joseph and Branch not playing with nagging injuries last season. Yeah, played with nagging injuries last season. Now is the time to heal up and be ready for training camp. Agreed with that. Yeah, just the fact that we don't know what the Brian Branch stuff is, although I want to say, oh, gosh, what was his name? BJH said there was a comment out there about it just being cleaning up of an old injury. So hopefully that's all it is. All right, Robert G, absolutely at Bo Booth, 100%. Phil, why did they wait for these surgeries? Just to get the season over with, I guess, and then get into it. So I don't, somebody who's got that kind of medical certification would have to tell you what the recovery time frame is. I have no idea, but my anticipation is based, if it's nothing big with either one of them, then the Lions did so to get them ready, into the healing process so they'd be ready for training camp. Is that still you? Good morning. Good morning, you two. One funky. If Holmes was worried about Branch, he would have drafted Cooper DeJean. There you go. That's a good thought right there. Silver Server, I am really intrigued by Wingo. He is in the mold of Kadora Cansey, very explosive, just not as explosive. Darn. I wanted him way over Jack Campbell. Yeah, if you remember, Silver, from the leaked, or I guess I shouldn't say leaked, but the War Room video from Tampa Bay that was eventually put out, I'm still surprised that it was allowed to get out. But they clearly were talking about that pick for the Detroit Lions when they were like, hey, our guy's still there on the board, and Tampa Bay picked right after us. It would appear based on that video that they wanted Jack Campbell's, but I think they're okay with who they got too. So could the Lions have gone that way versus Campbell? Sure, but the other side of it is, man, I think Campbell still has a lot of real upside. Maybe in another year or two, we might all be looking and say, yeah, well, that was absolutely the right move. But both of them are good players. How about that? All right, Peanut, we need depth at X wide receiver behind Donovan Peoples-Jones. I would agree with that. I would say if there's still something you're working on this offseason or before the season, that's probably one of the few things, in my opinion. All right, Kurt, I think they had them when it was possible. Sometimes you have to heal up and be able to have surgery. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, you have to get better prepared for the surgery. Broski, Kurt Steele, that's a true story. 100%, 100%. Miles Margaret, Thomas Yates, what does that mean? Who knows, man? Who knows? JDC, Phil, downtime of year, get things well with the body. There you go. Get all right with yourself. Trumps, now you're just somebody I used to know is the mushroom song there. All right, fair enough. Kurt, Impossible Whopper is good. Yeah, I'm going to be avoiding any fast food probably for a minute because, I'm hoping this all gets better quickly. All right, Mike the Marine, howdy, Dan Lions faithful. Happy Friday. Same to you. Trumps, good if you like estrogen. Very all right. Very good. Hookadoo, I think you had a bad reaction to the Coke not being Mountain Dew. Yeah, the revenge of the dew. It could be just that, man. Robert G, I would think that feeling would linger from eating a burger. I want to think that, yeah, I don't know what it is, man. It's just, it happened within literally minutes of eating that thing. that I could start feeling it come on. And yeah, just the rest of the night, it was like that. This morning, like I said, is better than last night, but I can still feel a little like foggy, I guess you could say. Lynn Insider, Vaki could be the fourth running back and fourth safety. So Lions could add one extra lineman in the game day roster. Yeah, that's a good call there, Lynn. I agree with that. Let's see, Robert. Lingers still the next morning. Yeah, it's not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, I'd be okay with being all better. Rocky, as Phil said, time for a checkup. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, about due for my yearly checkup. JDC, 2 dues a day will do you do you duly. 5 dues a day, you will just just as duly. There you go. Yeah, I try to restrict myself to 1 a day, just 1 due a day. And was it when I go to the store and get it, or the K and everything, I try to fill it up only halfway, and I don't even use the big cup. I use the smallest cup possible. So I've really cut back quite a bit. Let's see, mile marker Phil, thank you for your service to the community. I've not forgotten that nurses really showed up strong during the pandemic. Yeah, 100% with that. No questions asked there. Rocky, I'm thinking 1 of 2 undrafted free agents make the team. Center from Florida looks good. Yeah, I think he's got, in my opinion, he's got one of the better chances. All right, Robert G, I'm as guilty as everyone else, but eating fast food only give you healthy people a heart attack. Yeah, and I try to avoid it just for whatever reason, did yesterday, and yeah, obviously I'm regretting it. JDC, shout out to Bit Lady. We're still thinking about you. Fair enough. Yeah, it's been a minute since we've seen her, but I also know she said, if I remember right, something about the time change and working a different shift or something like that. Phil, Lions keep drafting zone coverage defense backs. There is a little bit of truth to that. Phil, agreed. JDC, God bless Bit Lady. Very good. Broski, Kirby, Joseph will definitely know how to spell Onzarique's name after seeing that back of the jersey so often. Very good. Miles Marker, yes, JDC, we miss ya. Bit Lady, always great comments. Yeah, and I'm sure at some point she'll be back, or at least I would think so. One Funky Broski, yeah, that probably will have him run a lot of hook routes there. All right, guys, it's been about 50 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and probably get going so I can go consume a bunch of water, some garlic, some vinegar, and stuff like that to help clean out the old head. Silver Server, keep in mind, Holmes said he can see Wingo taking reps as a defensive end as well. Yeah, so just so you guys know, if there's some other breaking news today, I'll try to get you guys as quick as possible. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push to get to 6,600 subs. And only 3 away. Other than that, if you would hit the thumbs up, help like the video, help it get out to other people, I'd be very thankful. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Maybe don't have a McDouble from McDonald's. And we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.